Today I will be taking a look into the world of smart lighting with the Govee RGBICW Smart Floor Lamp Basic. This sleek minimalist lamp promises to add a splash of color and ambiance to any room. But does it live up to expectations? I'm going to assemble, set up, and explore all its features, from music sync to DIY customization, to see if this is the lighting solution you've been searching for. I'm Wanderer 001. Let's get into it. Starting things off, we are looking at the bottom or base of this because it's very difficult to film a tall object in my studio. So let's talk about some of the general specifications. You are looking at an LED light that is actually 4 feet tall and has a width and depth of 7.9 inches at the base. It also has a cord, as you can see right there, that is 7.5 feet in length. Also has a control box right here that controls the Wi-Fi connection, which is 2.4 gigahertz, as well as its Bluetooth. You can also press the button to turn on and off the LEDs. And if you press and hold, it will cycle through brightness levels of the light selection that you have for the floor lamp already. If we turn things around a little bit, you can see I do have some color running through this. It's a little tricky to see on camera, but if I hold my hand up to it, you can see there's some purples in there. The LED light strip itself is segmented into 14 sections, and again, a little tricky to see on camera, but you can actually see individual nodes. You are looking at 1,000 lumens with a Kelvin temperature of 3,300 up to 4,300, and because this is an RGBIC, giving you the ability to have 16 million color options for you. Now, as you might imagine, this did not come in the box as it is because, well, that would be very difficult to transport. So there is a little assembly required. It is not terrible at all. There are several segments that you have to screw together. And I like the fact that Govee was nice enough to provide you with a screwdriver included. And then the LED rubber strip itself just attaches at the bottom and then pushes into place.
Assembly for the first one's easy. You just take pull part B, and this is already in there, and you just screw it in place. And you got to do it a bunch of other times and use these brackets. To get all your bits in place, move on to installing silicone. Gonna make sure that you take your connection here and properly connect it here. Recommended that you tuck your wires down into here, but also power on your thing, make sure you did it correctly, but it also show you the back here goes in here, and there's a little rubber channel that fits going all the way up.
The one thing I had with the assembly is, well, there are specific instructions, and if I move this over this way for the cap here, and you can see I did what it said not to do and popped the top out of place. And to me, there's a lot of other people who had this problem. And the fact that the directions themselves have a specific thing stating, if you run into this problem, do X, Y, and Z. Govee, you need to be better about that. I know there's other people out there that are like, oh, it's not that difficult. Don't worry about it. You do this, this, and this, and it works fine. Yeah, most people are going to do like I did, push it in up there, work your way to the top, not thread the top and the bottom, and then work your way from the middle. You do a better job of putting that into words, Govee. The pamphlet was very difficult. And I actually read the pamphlet, which I normally don't do. Just need to be better there. Because this is a smart device, even after assembling, there's going to be a setup process. Let me show you what that was like. This will be setup of the Govee RGBICW Floor Lamp Basic. It's actually just outside of frame there. We can search for this floor lamp, and here we go, floor lamp basic. So Bluetooth device, we're going to click on that and have it connect. Device is in pairing. Please short press the on and off button. Okay, put this here while I go do that. And just like that, paired it up. And we're just going to give it a name, very basic name. So it's searching for Wi-Fi, has my information because I have other Govee devices. There's an update, so you want to do that. And we'll just let that run. So you can't see off camera, it's flashing, but we look like we're good. So right now it's a warm light. I'm going to change it to a cold. Right now it's at 1%. I'm going to bump that up to 100%. You probably see that on camera now, right back there. All right, so that is set up. The Govee Floor Lamp Basic here supports 58 scene modes and 6 music modes. All of that though is controlled through the application. Let's take a look. This is the application for the Govee Floor Lamp Basic. Here we can see as part of the overall Govee app, we have our Govee floor lamp connected via Bluetooth or over Wi-Fi. It has a on-off button right here, so I can turn things on. It's just off camera there, and I can turn things off right from here. We can also access, and it will quickly show you if it's connected. From here, we have a power on and off, and we're just going to change that to something a little less dramatic. So there we go. We've got our on-off button right there. We have a picture indicating that it is actually lighting up. We have a control for the actual brightness of the light. We're going to leave that at 50, 60% just to make it a little easier for us. Right here, we have a timer, so we can have a off or on timer, and we could select specific days of the week. We can also set up something for our wake routine, or even our sleep routine. Those are all under our timers. Right now we're on our color, and there's a lot that we can do with our colors. In that, if I come down here, we have segment management. Right now we're on whole light management, meaning if I change a color, in this case I'm changing the warmth of the LED, it will change it for the entire thing. So if I do this, the entire length of the LED light strip is changing. We also have the ability to select a color hue. Notice that there's an animation letting you see, hey, this is roughly the color that we're getting. And I can scroll down a little more, kind of see that floating right there. I can select over to the right. It'll give me a better idea of the color hues that I'm going into. I can go right again, and then we have specific color palettes if I wanted. And then obviously here we've got our quick links right here, and I'm just going to come back to the color wheel because that's what I prefer. The one thing with this I don't particularly care for is this slider. If I go all the way to the right, to me that should be the coolest color. However, where it was before, notice it's warming up, but if I select this white right here, it's cool. You can see it in the background there. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but just be aware. If I select whole segment, it now changes it to segment, and from here there's options. We've got gradient, we could turn that on and off. We've got recommended colors, so if we come in here, we can select a styling, we can select a color, we can select a scene. So if I want lively and I'm going to do something more modern, notice the color changes there, and we can do gradient color, we can do complementary colors, or I can come over here and just say pick for me, and there it goes. It's doing a color scheme like that. I can regenerate if I don't like it. There you go. It's changing it, and you're kind of seeing behind what it's doing. So we'll leave it on that one. I'm not going to save it, but I could save it. And then here we could see our segments. I can select a segment and then adjust that brightness just from here. I can do 2 at a time. There's a lot of configuration that you can do. You could do a select all. You can come in and do your color wheel again. And down here, if I come back to the whole, move that out of the way, come down here. This is a segment that I saved from before. So you can save it as a my color. You can come in here and edit, and just like you can, I can delete this. I can add a color. There's a lot of options, and that's just under color. I'm going to pop that back to the white, and we're going to drop it down to a warmer color and slightly less. So the right of color, we have our scenes. So there are a lot of scenes, and Govee is really good about this, and the Govee community is excellent with this, in that if I select a scene, it's going to change how the light displays. If I do fireworks, now it's actually, you can see it in the background, it's not steady, and they have them in different categories. Here's a bouncing, here's release, here's a fight. They've got nature, so I can do fire if I want. And then here, there is a speed. So if it's moving too quickly, if you're sensitive to those types of things, you can adjust from here. And there's a lot of choices here. We've got collaboration, come back to life, we'll do movie. And it's just going to kind of be in the background like that. And this is one of the things that Govee is really good with. And next I'm going to come to illumination. So from here, we have the ability to control our color temperature. As I mentioned before, to me, this should be the bright blue white, but it's not really doing that. We've got our color temperatures down here. We can add one if we wanted to. Just make sure you're on the actual thing that you want. And here you can see work, reading, relax. We're just going to drop that down for now. And move on, we have our music. We can do from device or from mobile phone. And then depending on the sensitivity, so if I do from device and we do rhythm, based on my talking, it's going to change. I could do bouncing, and as I talk, it's going to blah, 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 blah in the background. Maybe I'll do that one next or this one. And you can do this based on the light itself or based on something coming from the actual device that you have the Govee app on. So that's under music. Here we have share spaces. So this would be allowing you to share. We've got DIY. So you can create your own effect, or you can kind of grab one of these pre-existing ones. So pretty cool. There you go. There's my effect. Notice if it has a sound next to it, that means that based on audio, it's going to do something. So if I just do Rainbow 2, it's going to change even though I'm not talking. Music 1, though, will change based on my talking. And then you can come in here and change every aspect of this, the speed, the color. And again, Govee's customization is second to none. I have not seen any other really companies that do it quite as well as Govee does. So that's our DIY. Here's our finger sketching, which will allow you could see I was playing with this before. You have several different segments that you can change the color. You can change the direction. You can change the cycle. You can change the gradient. You can change it to twinkle if you want, or breathing. There are just so many choices. And again, you have your movement speed right there. And I keep coming back up here to try and make it so that it's not flashing consistently in the background. Next, we have AI. This is Govee's attempt at you tell it what you want, and it will try and come up with a lighting cue for you. So if I hold the talk, an intense space battle of good versus evil with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance. So we'll give that a moment. I stuttered when I was asking for it before, and we'll hit yes. To the right of that, we have more. This will allow you to do things like operating function. You can do a timer. You can do the snapshot. That's this thing floating over here. So if I wanted that to be a quick shot to the timers, I can do that. We've got our autoplay. We've got fun lighting. We've workshops, color chest, random color lighting. This is a myriad of things that you can play with, and that's all under our more function. So that's everything that we can do for the light controls. But if we come up here to the right-hand corner of our screen and select the sprocket icon, this is our settings for the Govee lamp. Here we can change the name. We can change the layout. So we can either do default or we can customize our layout. We can change our Wi-Fi. We've got user guide for Alexa and Google Assistant, LAN controls, firmware, hardware, and then further down is our Mac information, as well as our product number, and then the ability to delete right from there. But that has been everything that we can do for the Govee floor lamp basic in the Govee app. Now that we've seen the impressive things that the Govee application allows us to do with the floor lamp basic here, well, it is a lamp, it is plugged in, and for me, I want to know, anytime I'm plugging in a smart device, how much power does it actually use in my home? In the case of the Govee floor lamp basic, when it is connected to the Wi-Fi and off, meaning the LED lights are not on, it uses 2.1 watts of power. However, based on the color and intensity, as well as flashing or strobing that you have the floor lamp do, can change the overall output wattage. Let me show you. The amount of power that's used is dependent on the color. So right there, we have the full thing lit up on the white at full. If I bring it over, changes, drops it down, then brings it back up. So we're looking at 22 there. If I bring it to the warm, you're looking at 18. Colors will also make it different. So if I come over here and do a purple, 12, go into a blue, that's 7, kind of go in aqua, it's 9, 12, do a green, different green, kind of come up to a yellow, do a red, like a red, because red's normally going to give me the lowest. So red at 7.4 at 100%. And then if I bring this down to 50% right there, you can see it drops it to 4.8, which isn't bad. And then if I come back and I do my bright white at 0.5%, that's 10. We'll go one way of the color, so that's 12. And then come over to our warm, that's 10. So that's energy usage for the Govee floor lamp basic. Now, besides testing power usage, I also like to test what happens to an LED smart lamp or bulb when power is lost, because the return state is very important. You don't want this turning on in the middle of the night if you lost power. In the case of the Govee floor lamp basic, if you lose power while the light is on, it will return to an on state. Similarly, if the light is off and you lose power, it will return to an off state. So I do appreciate that fact. Whatever the last state was is what it will return to. Now, the Govee floor lamp basic is also compatible with voice assistants such as Google Home and Alexa. Let me show you what that's like. Alexa, turn on Govee Floor Lamp Basic. Alexa, set Govee Floor Lamp Basic to 50%. Alexa, set Govee Floor Lamp Basic to red. Alexa, set Govee Floor Lamp Basic to blue 100%. All right, I have to do commands individually. Alexa, set Govee Floor Lamp Basic to blue. Alexa, set Govee Floor Lamp Basic to 100%. I have covered a lot of good features about this floor lamp. Let me tell you some of the cons that I found while testing. First being, this is more of mood lighting, honestly. It is meant to be aimed at a wall to give you accent lighting behind something. I was hoping more for something that I'd be able to use for Zoom meetings to help brighten my face up. This was not what I was looking for. The bright cool white is not as cool as I've seen in other LED smart bulbs or lighting. So I don't know why that is with Govee for this particular floor lamp. Maybe that's in their more higher end models, but this one does not have a super bright white light. The LED strip, as I mentioned, should be a better length or have better directions as to how to install it to not damage the top of the lamp. The other thing with this being an accent light is the color of the wall that you're displaying this on can change the actual color. So here this is kind of like a beigey wall, and if I throw that over there on some white, you could see the color does change a bit. So depending on what you're aiming this at could vastly change the color effect that you're getting. As you can see, I'll throw in a couple samples of me moving this around to a few different colors that I have in my house to give you an idea of what you're looking at right now on other walls, just so you know what I'm talking about. My last criticism is for the cord and control box. The length of the cord is really good. The control box, however, is connected to the base and is the shortest portion. Yeah, there's some 3M tape on the back of that, but this is super short. Like, are you supposed to turn this on and off with your foot? The microphone to control all the music controls is also there. You'd figure that should be a little further towards where you'd actually be able to actuate it with a hand, or closer where your music would be coming from. Just food for thought. This is the basic model of this particular style lamp from Govee, so perhaps in the higher end models, they rethought that and redesigned it. Overall, Govee makes a large selection of lights, and I enjoyed the large community aspect to the users of Govee products. While this was not the type of floor lamp I was looking for, as long as you understand what you're getting into, it is a good accent / mood light. I can recommend it for that aspect. If this sounds like the LED floor lamp mood light you've been looking for, I will have a link where you can pick one up for yourself in the description area below. If you appreciate the time and effort that goes into making comprehensive videos like this, make sure to hit that like button to help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here and want to be notified of my next review, hit that subscribe button. Still not sure if this is the right LED light for you? On screen now, you'll see 2 other reviews I've done to help you make a more informed decision for yourself.